Okay, it's October 11th, 2023, and I probably shouldn't even be making this video because I'll probably say something that ticks somebody off, and you know what? I really don't care. So I guess I should be making this video. I saw that, I didn't even watch the whole thing. I saw the sound bites of it, which was more than enough to get the flav of what's going on. Joe Biden. Joe Xerox Biden, as he was known in the 80s, you know, for copying people's speeches and dropping out of the presidential race back then. Lying Joe. Fraudster. Yeah, many times he got caught lying. He's still lying. So you had him up there talking about, after a hiatus, after being disappeared for a few days, had a lid on it, you know, a lid on it to where he's not going to give any, he's not going to be available. There's not going to be anything going on. No press, nothing in the coming out of the White House. So Saturday or Sunday and Monday, didn't hear anything out of him. Well, yesterday, he was prepped and ready to go. He was polished up, ready to read that teleprompter. And the language, that's the main thing. The emotional charge of the language, that's what I paid attention to. And how he was using examples of, you know, children being beheaded, to, you know, people being stolen, whole families being held hostage and then executed. And I mean, I don't know what he used. He used a lot of charged words. And anytime that happens, that's an emotional ploy. It's an attempt to emotionally sway you into something. We stand with Israel, make no mistake. And here's where I'm going to get in trouble. What do you mean we stand with Israel? What do you mean we stand with Ukraine? What do you mean we stand with any of these people overseas? We being who? Because it's not me. That's not a lot of people I know. What do you mean we stand with them? And what does that mean, we stand with you? That means whatever you do, it doesn't matter. We're going to stand by you. All right? We're going to send you all the weapons, which is happening. It's happening. First flight of missiles for the Iron Dome defense system showed up in Israel, courtesy of the US of A. God bless the USA. Yeah, sorry, but that's basically how it sounds. God bless the USA no matter what. We're always right. We're the good guys. Bullshit. We fund the wars. This military-industrial complex that Dwight D. Eisenhower spoke about in his farewell address. The military-industrial complex. That is exactly what we have seen take over the world. And it comes out of the United States. We are the sponsors of world terror. We funded Hamas. Well, Israel actually founded Hamas, and we fund Israel. And they say that Iran is behind Hamas now. And we fund Iran, so we are the state sponsors of terror. We stand with terrorism. That's what we do, right? Pretty logical, isn't it? Follow the money. That's all you got to do. And then you look back and you say, wait a minute. How did ISIS get formed? Where did Osama bin Laden come from? Courtesy of the USA, baby. Our greatest export, the military-industrial complex. That's what we do. And you can sit up there and wave the flag and say, we're all great and do all these great things. Yeah, there's a lot of great people in America. There's a lot of great people in government. But when you look at what we do on a large scale with the money that flows to these entities, I guess you could call them, we're funding terrorism. And actually, we're funding both sides of the war. Funding Hamas, funding Israel. So I think the thing they want to do is escalate this. They need a war. They want a war between religious factions. You're a Muslim, F you. You're a Christian, F you. You don't deserve to live. You are infidels. It goes both ways. People get whipped up. And that's the only reason people support Israel is because they think it's, well, I'm a Christian, you know, the God of the Bible, the Israeli God, the Jewish God, and, Jesus came from that, and, so, we have to stand with Israel because they're God's chosen people. Depends on which God you're looking at. Because you got another side of the coin that says, oh, that's not kind of how it goes. That's a different narrative than I thought. And so let's fight about it. Let's kill each other for it. How many wars, let's put it this way, how many millions of people have died in the name of religion? And do you know the truth? Do you really, really know the truth? I think you do. But, okay, let's read any religious book. And you read a translation. Well, who translated it? And why do we have, let's take the Bible, for instance. There's all these translations. New Revised Edition, the English version, the King James version, the Vulgate Bible. There's all these different translations. Don't you think, when you just pick two different up, any random two, and start reading them, and you're like, wait a minute, that word's different in there, and that word's different in this one. Does it mean the same thing? Well, it probably, the gist of it. However, when you start looking at real words and you start tracing them back because you don't know the original word by reading what you see in the translation, you think, okay, this is what it means. Does it really? Is that what it really means? I mean, do you need to speak Aramaic, Hebrew, to understand what it really means? Do you need to know the meaning back to the source? Probably. Otherwise, you're getting a flavor of it. You're getting someone else's kind of opinion. They've swayed it a little bit, massaged it a little bit, because any translation, something gets lost in translation. There's a movie about that. So if you think you know the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God, God better help you, because you don't know the truth. You might think you do, but you don't. And that goes for any religion. Unless you speak the original tongue in which it was written, that language, and you're an expert in it, then you don't know. You're taking somebody else's word for it. Maybe you're getting deceived. Ever think about that? No, you don't think about that, do you? A lot of people don't think about that. They think, oh, nope, I'm right. Says so right here. Yeah, is that the real context, though? I've always said my background is in literature. I've got a teaching certificate in English. It's still valid. Not that it means anything. That's just the state saying that I paid a bill, every 3 months or 3 years, I should say. But my whole thing was go to the source. Whenever there's a question, whenever there's an argument, argument just means to find the truth, to seek an answer. But whenever there's a discussion about or a disagreement about something, you go to the source. It's like, all right, well, let's pull the book out. You're reading somebody's opinion, an essay on Hamlet, and this is what they say. And it's like, oh, no, hang on, let's back up. Let's take out the original text and let's read through it. And let's see if that's what really is the intention. Is that what's really being said? Let's read it together. Let's look at it and let's analyze it. Go to the source, the original source, not someone who's citing the source. There are so many lies. There's so much deception right now, and this is all by design. All by design. That's what's happening right now in this time in which we find ourselves, that we've chosen to come here and exist. You can get swept up in the mania. You can get swept up in the emotion, and then it's not you anymore because you're part of something else. You're part of some whirlwind that you just happen to get sucked into. Now, you can let that happen. And you can let go of any discernment. You can essentially give up your soul because you are not looking inward and reconnecting to the source and going to the source. Because everything you read might put you on that path, might get you going to the right direction, but it can also steer you off a little bit if it's a little bit wrong because somebody might have misplaced a word here and there, or translated it a little bit differently. Or you've got a leader saying that, no, this is the way it is. This is my interpretation. Well, when it comes down to your soul, you might want to do your own research. You might not want to rely on somebody else's opinion. You might not want to rely on someone who's trying to whip you up into a frenzy using emotionally charged words. They've got an agenda. You better trust yourself. All right. I love each and every one of you. I love everybody. I just don't sell yourself short relying on these vampires to tell you what the truth is. You know the truth if you look inside, and you'll know it. You'll resonate with it. It's your path. It's nobody else's. Nobody should steer you where you're supposed to go. You should follow the path that you feel is the correct path. Seeking knowledge, seeking discernment, looking inward, connecting to the source. All right. Love you all. Hope you have a wonderful Wednesday.